De no conocer la nieve a construir un imperio deportivo en Vail, esta es la historia de Mike Brumbaugh. Hola, soy Beatriz Martínez, la host de este podcast Conquering Vail, donde hablamos de todos los temas relacionados al real estate y al lifestyle de Vail Valley, exclusivamente enfocados al comprador internacional. Bienvenidos a mi podcast. Hoy tengo el placer de conversar con Mike Brumbaugh, fundador y propietario de Venture Sports, una empresa que ha sido parte integral de la comunidad de Vail Valley desde el 1991. Mike llegó a ver la temporada de esquí del 1990, inicialmente planeando una breve estadía, como muchos lo hacen, antes de continuar sus estudios de Derecho. Sin embargo, su pasión por las montañas y el espíritu emprendedor lo llevaron a establecer Venture Sports, que ahora cuenta con múltiples ubicaciones estratégicas en el Vail Valley. Además de su éxito empresarial, Mike es un entusiasta del ciclismo, el hiking y obviamente el esquí, y ha contribuido significativamente a la comunidad local de Vail Valley a través de diversas iniciativas.
Excellent. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Let's start from the very beginning, Mike. What brought you to Vail? I know some of these things, and by the way, Mike and I have, known each other for 15, 20 years.
Más
Más, ¿verdad?
25 años, ¿no?
25 años. Y Mike, cuando quieras hablar español, bienvenido. Mike habla un poco de español.
Antes de hijos.
Exactamente. That's good. So let's start from the very beginning. What brought you to Vail? And how did Venture Sports come?
So I came to Vail. I was actually living in Crested Butte, where I finished college, and I was going to go to law school at University of Colorado. And I was living in Vail between undergraduate and graduate school, and I got the opportunity to start the shop. You can defer from law school for 3 years. And here I am 34 years later. So I do not think they will take me in law school now. But maybe.
Hey, if Kim Kardashian is doing it, Mike, I think you can.
I did not know that. Me and Kim Kardashian. Super, right? There we go.
Okay. Plus, at the end of the day, you have to do what you're passionate about. And we clearly know that you're passionate about what you do, and it shows.
So yeah, I say a lot of times that I would trade bank accounts with many people, but I would not trade lives with anybody. I am the king of the world. I have the best life. I sell fun. 99% of the people that we deal with are incredible people because we're handing them their skis for the day, or we're handing them their bike for the day, or we're telling them what the best run is or what the best hike is to go see the beautiful wildflowers in the summer. So yeah. I have the best life ever.
And I've seen all your videos. I mean, it shows in your videos, in the way that you present yourself in social media. I mean, you've been doing this for 30-something years, but you still have the same passion as the first day that I talked to you. At the end of the day, I mean, now that I'm 54, I'm understanding that you have to, and that's what I tell my kids. My daughter is now, and we're going on a tangent here, but this is very important to talk about. She's going to be a senior, and she likes education, she likes children, and years ago I'm like, you shouldn't do that. And now I'm like, you know what? Do what makes you happy. And do what you have, and at the end of the day, I agree with you. Of course, money make a living, but and it shows in what you do, and you've been super successful entrepreneur as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the early days and how you built this business from the ground up?
Absolutely. So I say in my case that God looks after the stupid, and again, that's kind of a joke, but it's true. Yeah. I mean, the things that have happened to me, you can't explain. It's incredible. So, for example, there's a shop in Vail that had a fire in the shop. They had smoke damage to all their clothing, but they also had smoke damage to the skis and the boots. And so the insurance company came in and said, we need you to throw everything away. And well, obviously skis don't really have smoke damage. And so they told me, hey, we're going to throw 200 pair of skis in this dumpster. If you happen to be there at that time, you can grab them. No. So I got 200 pair of skis for free. My second year of business really, really helped me because that saved me a bunch of money. Just little things like that, I have friends in constructions. When it came to remodeling the store, I did all that myself. I'm not the best carpenter, but I know how to paint. We laid our own carpet, just things like that are the things that you do. No different than probably when your parents were starting out. If they needed to paint the bedroom when they were going to have you as a baby, they didn't hire a painter. They painted it themselves.
Listen, my parents came from Cuba in the 60s. Yeah, I mean, they came with nothing, and you're right. When you come from nothing, you do everything yourself, and that's the best way, because now now you really truly know how it is to start a ski rental business or a ski business from scratch. How long ago was that when you were able to get a hold of those, what is it, 100, 200 pair of skis?
Yeah, that would have been 1992 or 93. It was like my second year in business. And that shop is still in business, the other one, and even though we're competitors, we're still friends. I thank him regularly for doing that because that's a part of why I'm here today 30 years later.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I know the first time, I mean, the first shop I saw was in Avon.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we started, sort of like communicating and working together. Was that the first shop that you opened?
Yes, ma'am. So the first shop was in Avon, and actually, it's funny when you met me, I was across the street from City Market. I was there
Yes.
for 25 years, but I actually
Yeah.
started in the Avon Center, which is where I am now. So I moved back over there. So I'm literally in the
Oh,
exact same space that I was in 33 years ago. So I was there for 3, 4 years, moved to across the street from City Market for like 25 years, and now I've been back in this location for almost 10 now.
great. Right. So Venture Sports has grown over the years and now has multiple locations.
Better
What
that.
makes your business stand out in such a competitive, I mean, the ski rental, both, because now the summers, the bike rental market is super competitive as well. So how are you able to make Venture Sports stand out? And if you can give us a little bit of an idea of how, I mean, I remember from one year to the next, all of a sudden I see base camp, I see the shop at the Lion. You created this amazing business alliances with really top, properties. If you can take us through that process and what makes Venture Sports so competitive or stand out when you
Yeah.
compare it to other shops.
So I think that, and again, this might sound cliche, but it's true. What I tell everybody who comes to work for us is our job is to serve people. If we serve people, the money will work itself.
Yeah.
Versus, I think a lot of my competitors are, how can we make money?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. And I think it's a little bit opposite. If we serve people, the money will follow. And so the way that I started expanding was my second year in business. We had President Ford, our former president of America,
Uh-huh.
has a house in Beaver Creek.
Yeah.
And they called me and said, "Hey, they don't want to come down to the shop. Can you deliver the skis?" And I said, "No problem. We do that all the time." And I threw the skis in my car and we delivered skis. So that was in 1992. Then I
Oh my
started delivering
God.
skis. So I was actually the first shop in North America, I believe. I've asked around. I think I'm the first one
Uh-huh.
to do ski rental delivery. And so we said, "Sure, we'll do that." And so fast forward to the Ritz Carlton Club up in Bachelor Gulch. They had a ski shop in that store, but we did a lot of deliveries, and many of the owners there thought that our service was perhaps than the shop that they had in their store. So they asked me if I would put another shop up there. So we did. That then led to, as you mentioned, base camp.
If you can tell our audience, I mean, a lot of 100% of our audience and our listeners are international. But if you
Mhm.
can talk a little bit about base camp, and a lot of them stay at the Sebastian, but it would be good to explain what base camp is.
Absolutely. So base camp was my second satellite location. That's we are right, and we are affiliated with the Sebastian Hotel. Obviously, this is a podcast in Spanish, and so we have a lot of our friends from Mexico. So
Yeah.
the Sebastian is owned by an amazing Mexican family, the Marti family. Unfortunately, Mr. Marti passed away about a year ago, but Mrs. Marti and her daughter Jimena still run the hotel. They're very hands-on and an amazing, amazing family. Most of your people from Mexico will know who the Marti family is.
Yeah.
So we are affiliated with the with the Sebastian, and base camp is actually in the Gondola building. So Gondola 1, right at the top of Bridge Street. That's our ski in, ski out location. So if you're staying at the Sebastian, we store your skis there, but we have a ton of people who stay like in Northwoods. We like to call Northwoods Mexico because I think 98% of the owners in Northwoods are from Mexico City.
Yeah, exactly.
So
100%.
whether
Yeah.
you're there or Potato Pass or wherever, just different properties, we are right there. We are in the gondola building. So literally, you can ski to the front door. You've probably seen some of the videos, Beatrice, of me literally skiing up to the shop. So
Yeah. I love those videos. So good. Your videos, we have to do a collab. I was telling, I forgot your market. Yeah. We have to, Tuesdays. We're going to talk about it after the podcast.
Absolutely. That's the fun part. Again, that's, people are like, "Oh, I have to go to work today."
No, I love it too.
And I can do it in Spanglish, and I will butcher the words, but most people will understand some of what I'm saying. So
of course, exactly. Just like Portuñol. I mean, I always tell people I don't know Portuguese, I know Portuñol. Then you speak Spanglish, which is great. So going back to base camp, so you don't have to stay at the Sebastian to rent skis at base camp.
100%.
Okay, that's important to know. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh.
Is because it's a loophole in the Vail Town Code. So if you look again, there's a lot of great properties, there's a lot of great ski ballets, but we are the only one that you can ski to the front door. Everything else is down the basement. It's another perk, and we will definitely. Let's say you and your family of four. If three of the four of you are renting, if Dad has his own skis, we'll figure out how to let you keep his stuff.
Okay. That flexibility goes a long way, Mike, as you said, like service. I mean, I've been working with international, and when I say international, it's 95% people from Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico City, Monterrey, for 18 years, and you have to be flexible. They're there, they're spending a lot of money for their vacation. I started going to Vail when I was 7, 8 years old, from Puerto Rico. I grew up in Puerto Rico, so I understand. It's in the beginning, it's a challenging when you're learning how to ski and you have small children. And if you service them correctly, your clients will come back. And it's all about relationships and such. And that's how I also work my business as well.
And that's a really fun part. Two things about base camp. The great part is because we have so many owners there, and I'll pick on Northwoods. They're in Northwoods.
Yeah.
We've seen the people for 20 years. So when they came in, they were 4 years old, and now they're getting ready to have their own kids. So we see la mamá ahora es la abuela, and tiene dos hijos, grandkids. Yeah, and so it's really neat to see them grow up. And then specifically with the children, great part is when you come into base camp or any of our satellite locations, whether it's the Lion, whether it's the Hyatt, where we have a ski in, ski out location, we are going to put the boots on the kids' feet. So, you've been traveling all day, you're tired, you're at elevation. Actually, if you're from Mexico City, it's the same elevation, but let's say you're from Puerto Rico.
Yeah. From Miami. A lot of my clients are from Miami.
Yeah, so if you come from Miami, you're now at 8,000 feet, you're tired, you didn't sleep well, all that stuff. And so we take that part out. We're going to take care of the kids. We're going to get you on the snow so that you can just enjoy your vacation. And that's our job. It's fun. The number of people say, oh, you were amazing. Hey, if you're ever in Miami, here's where we live. Come down and see us. Beckley and Tex, who run base camp for me, they have been to Puerto Vallarta, where we have owners who have places. They've seen we get the opportunity to do that fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's great. People at the end of the day come back and they go, "This was the best ski vacation I've ever had. Thank you very much." That's more valuable than all the money in the world.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And and again, I've been on that side as well when my kids started to ski. And I live between Miami and Vail. When I was in Vail full time, and my kids, even out at altitude, I was exhausted. So if somebody could help me put the boots and the skis on the children, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Especially when you're traveling.
Yeah. I have this is switching a little bit to bike. Yesterday I was in the Avon store, and a very good friend of mine who lives in Jacksonville, so the other end of the state from Miami, but still in Florida. Still obviously at sea level. Very, very, very strong biker. He races, and he got to town the day before yesterday, and I saw him yesterday, and he had ridden for maybe 30 minutes, and he's 40 years old. He's like, Mike, I'm dying.
Altitude.
And he's in really good shape. But the altitude, and this is very important for everybody listening, if you come from Miami, if you come from Puerto Rico, if you come from Panama, drink lots of water. Don't drink alcohol. I know you don't want to hear that on vacation. But
you're right.
Drink lots and lots of water.
Drink alcohol.
It really does help. Just no matter how fit you are when you walk up those stairs, that's the thing that gets you is stairs. When you walk up the stairs, you're going, after 5 stairs, that's totally normal. Not because you're out of shape, it's because you're at elevation. So drink lots of water. That's the best thing you can possibly do.
And I'm going to tell you a story. Years before my kids were born, I lived in Miami. Most of my adult life, I've lived in Miami. I went to school in New York. I graduated, moved to Miami, and I did triathlons. I didn't do, again, that's 15, 16, almost 20 years ago. I would love to get back into it, but I need the time and who knows. But When I moved to Vail full time, I brought my bikes. You just said that, and I remember, and I was in shape. I thought I was in shape. So I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm going to get road bikes. I did. I'm going to get my road bike. I could not. I remember 20 minutes into the ride, I thought I was dying. I'm like, oh my God, there's something wrong with it. And it was a flat, sir. It was flat. I wasn't going downhill, uphill, nothing. So you're right. I mean, it doesn't matter. I was 30.
El año pasado, ¿no?
El año pasado, exacto. And
You're
I
like,
told my
oh,
parents,
Wonder Woman.
I'm gonna go. I told my parents I'm gonna go out for a short run, 2 miles. 10 miles in, and I couldn't stop running. I'm like, oh my God. So I loved, I love that aspect of spending time on the mountain and living on the mountain, that you get such great lung capacity. And it's amazing.
Legalized blood doping.
Exactly. You're right. Wow. Yeah, I've never thought.
That's what. So
You
right
are
now,
right.
people, and
Yeah.
this is I'll brag a little bit, but two stories. So right now, all of the people, most of your listeners have heard of the Tour de France.
Of course.
So right now, all the people who are going to race in the Tour de France are at elevation. They're in Europe at elevation doing high altitude camps, so they can legalize blood dope. Because then when you go to France, Tour de France starts right outside of Paris, so it starts at sea level. But you have so much more red blood cells that you are stronger. And the story I was going to say real quick, for any of your followers who are bikers who are on Strava, a lot of them will know what Strava is.
Yeah, the app, yeah.
They can follow me. I am actually riding every kilometer of the Tour de France the day before the Tour this year. So I leave on July 1st to go ride the Tour de France. So I will, one day before the Tour, I'll be riding it.
But in the same route?
Exact one, 100% lo mismo de la
No. So, all right, then I wanna. Gosh, now I have so many ideas.
Yeah.
Who can I talk to? Should I talk to your marketing girl? See how we can hook it up and put it, because I want to be able to showcase it on my Instagram as well. Every day you're gonna post it, right? On YouTube.
Yeah, so all the videos. The thing that's crazy, and I know this is a little topic, but it's fun.
No, but this is fun. Yeah.
So you remember when you were here? You remember the triple bypass, right?
Yeah.
So the triple bypass, you ride from Denver to Avon. It's 120 miles. It's 10,000 feet. So it's what 160 kilometers, and it is 3,000 meters of climb, mile miles.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that, but then the next day starts in Colorado Springs. And then so you have to drive for 2 hours. So almost after every stage, there's an hour to 2 hour transfer. So the reason I tell you that is I am going to take video every day and I'll post them, but I may not. They may be a day or so delayed because you ride for 6 or 7 hours and then you have to drive for 2 hours. You got to recover. You got to get ready for the next day. So yeah, we'll put something together because it's fun. And a lot of your, I've done several. There's a bike series called the Haute Route, which is a 5 or 7 day stage race in Europe, usually in the Alps. I've done about 9 of those, and there's a huge group. There's a group of like 50 or 60 Mexicans that
really?
they do it every year, and it's what a small world it is. I was literally in the elevator with like 8 of these. They all wear the Mexican flag.
Yeah.
And so they're Mexican. And in the elevator, and we start talking, me and my husband, like, oh, ¿de dónde eres? Oh, Colorado. ¿Cuál parte? Oh, Vail. Vail, yo tengo un casa en Vail. No. And they had been in my store. And it's like, no, chico. So it's incredible. So
when is a triple bypass in August? When's the triple bypass? July. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Exactly. Okay.
Talking to people, letting them know they can do it, talking to them about their nutrition, what gearing they need on their bikes, all that kind of stuff.
My brain, I'm coming up with so many ideas.
I can see the smoke.
Yeah. We'll talk later. I have so many ideas. That is exciting. I love it. My God, I'm hoping that at some point I can get back on track. I mean, now I have a 15 and a 16-year-old. Once they leave, I want to go. I want to get back on track, and hopefully, not the Tour de France, but any of those, shorter races. I would love to do again.
Hoy es el primero día, ¿no? Puede cambiar.
Es verdad.
No. very interesting, and I'll try not to get emotional here, but the main thing I do, I'm involved. So the Denver Rescue Mission, even though that's Denver and not Vail, but it's Denver's longest not-for-profit, and they feed homeless people. And the reason I didn't realize you're from Cuba, so I've actually been to Cuba 20 times.
My parents are. I was born in Puerto Rico, but both my parents, my entire family. So yeah, I'm pretty much from Cuba. I would say.
So I've been to Cuba mucho veces. We go down there and I work with the local churches there, but we take in. You're wearing glasses. We take in glasses and we take in bikes. And as you know, if you give a Cuban a bicycle, that's like me giving an American a Ferrari.
Yes.
And also the gift of sight. If you can't see, and so they hand, an abuela a pair of glasses, and she's got something in her hand, and she suddenly goes, and she just starts crying because she can see for the first time in 20 years. Neither one of those two are local. But the fact that we can do those types of things and we've taken local people with us, that's the important thing. So locally, we do a lot of things with local kids here. We get kids on bikes. So every year with the schools, we do a thing to do a safety check for their bicycles. The brakes work and the gears work and the tires are pumped up. We do that type. We have an initiative working with girls to get girls on bikes, which is really, really cool.
That's cool.
We work with the Rotary, which the Rotary is an international organization. And the Rotary does, you can't see my hands, but the Rotary does this much work and we do that much work. They sponsor bring kids up. So every year we outfit them with skis. So you have these kids that come from France and Germany, Panama, and Costa Rica and all over who don't have skis with them. And so you're fortunate enough to be able to give them skis for the year. It's nothing. It's that much.
Yeah.
Don't make me up to be bigger than I am, but that's the kind of thing that those kids then come back and they're like, oh, we got to ski. Thank you so much. I gave them a pair of skis. I mean, it's nothing, but it's that's the fun part.
No, and the rescue mission, that you said it correctly. I mean, some of these countries, Cuba, a lot of countries in Latin America, a bike is the livelihood. They can go to work, they can go to school, they can go
buy groceries for their family.
Yeah. It makes a huge difference. And I know, I mean, I've seen venture sports in many local events as well. So I know you guys are very active. Now, many of our international listeners and my personal clients, as we talked about earlier, are passionate about cycling, whether road bike or mountain biking, and they visit Vail in the summer looking for outdoor adventures. What are your bike-related offerings at Venture Sports this summer? Anything exciting? What can they expect? I mean, they're all coming in the next couple of weeks. A lot of them are already in Vail. What are the offerings for this summer?
We have many, but I would say our three most popular right now, e-bikes. E-bikes are very, very, very popular. So we have about 100 e-bikes in our rental fleet.
Okay.
So you can take them, rent them. It's like $80 for the day, $60 for a half day, más o menos. And the great thing about the e-bike, like you mentioned, when you were living in Miami, you would come up here, even though you were in great shape, you're like, oh, Dios mío, I'm going to die.
Yes, you're gonna die, yeah.
And so the e-bike allows you to ride up and down our hills. If you're in great shape, turn the battery off. You get the same workout. If you're in better shape than me, you can have the battery off, but I can have the battery on to help me keep up with you so we can both ride together.
And the e-bikes are also, I've never ridden an e-bike, and maybe that's something that I should do this summer, because I cannot do what I used to do years before, and I feel that I'm missing out, especially on the mountain. Are those mountain bikes as well? Because I've seen the e-bikes on the road.
Yep.
What about the mountain bike?
So like I said, we have about 100, and they are like for the path. So the beautiful bike path that goes from Vail to Avon, up to East Vail, all the way down. That's what the bulk of we do out of base camp. 6 e-mountain bikes. So full suspension, fork in the front, shock in the rear that you can take up on the mountain, come bombing down. We don't have as many of those because it's just not quite as popular. And in Avon, most of the trails, you're not supposed to take e-bikes on. On the mountain, no problem. So long-winded answer, the bulk of what we do are the path bikes. And we have a few of the e-mountain bikes. As it gets more and more popular, we will add more of those. So the e-bikes are very, very popular.
The other
thing we do that's very popular is our Vail Pass tour. So much like ski rental delivery, I was actually the first shop in the valley to do this. So we put you in a van, we pick you up in Vail or in Avon or Beaver Creek, wherever you're staying. We drive you to the top of Vail Pass. There is a beautiful, Beatrice, this is new since you left. They've actually redone the path. and it's gorgeous. It gets a little bit away from I-70. You go by Gore Creek, you go by ponds, you see waterfalls, you see flowers. It's gorgeous. And no matter how out of shape you are, you can do it because it's all downhill. And so a little bit, but that's super popular. Generally speaking, we tell people it takes 2 to 4 hours. You can do it faster, you can do slower. You have the bike for the entire day. So if you want to go through Vail, keep the bikes, you get the bike. And so the thing I tell people is rafting, very, very popular. I'm from Florida, kind of like you're from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So if I came to Vail in the summer, I'm like, I don't like anywhere. I want to go rafting. But rafting, golfing, keeping, hot air ballooning, all of those things are several $100s a day.
Yeah.
The Vail Pass tour is under $100 per person. So I believe it's like one of the least expensive tours that you can do in Vail and not have to, if you're not a millionaire, maybe you can't afford $200 per person times 5 people.
Yeah.
And so this allows you to go do something that is still a full day or a half day and it's not crazy expensive. So that's the second most popular. And then, or not the second, but the second option that we highlight. And the third one is just our demo bike. Again, if you watch the Tour de France in your big road, we rent the exact same bikes that they ride in the Tour de France.
Really?
So the very, very expensive bikes, we rent them. And also from the mountain bikes, we rent like $8,000 mountain bikes. So our rental fleet is very, very, very nice. We also have basic bikes. But if you want the best of the best of the best, we have those as well. So I think those would be the 3 things that I would highlight for the summer.
So that's very interesting. I had no idea that you have such elite bikes that you could rent. So we can have like these elite riders that might want to try some of these, latest demos for, road biking and just
so like again with the Tour de France, most of your they will know about Team Ineos, so they'll know of Pinarello. Pinarello is the high-end Italian brand. We rent the Pinarello Dogma, which is the same bike they're riding in the Tour de France. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so that's very interesting for our audience. A lot of my clients, they're extreme sports enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And if they want to rent one of those, I mean, how far in advance do they go online? I mean, that's important because I'm sure you don't have, I mean, if especially in July, August, when when it's super full crowded, how far in advance, what do they have to do?
They just call the shop. So with skis, we can do everything online. It's weird because we have like 3,000 pair of skis and you can do that online. But we only have, 150 bikes, but that you have to talk to a human. The reason why is because there's so many, I want to go biking. Okay, do you want an e-bike? Do you want a cruiser bike? Do you want a path bike? Do you want a mountain bike? Do you want a full suspension bike?
Yeah.
Do you want a road bike? And so we just ask that you call or email us and we'll get that all set. And yeah, it is a good idea to do it in advance because especially with the high-end road bikes, we have about 20, which is more than anybody else in the valley, but it's only 20. And so you mentioned the triple bypass. For the triple bypass, we will always sell out for the triple bypass. Just because people are coming in for vacation, they don't want to travel with their bikes. And so just give us a call, we'll reserve it. And we basically just ask for your height. And then most of your high-end road cyclists who are listening will know that if they've been fit, so they know their seat height, they know their stack, they know their reach, we get all that. And that way, when you show up, the bike is set up 99% the same as what you have. And so we take care of all that. So just call the shops. We'll walk through all the questions and make sure you're set. Generally speaking, you don't want to show up the day before and say, hey, I want to take a road bike.
And then, pay the registration for the triple bypass and expect that there's going to be a bike waiting for you at Venture Sports the day before. Yeah, yes. I'm sure. Yeah.
Which happens
I know. Sure. So how, Mike, on a personal, level, how do you personally balance being a business owner with enjoying? Well, actually, you're actually answering the question I made. How do you personally balance being a business owner with enjoying all the outdoors activities that fails? But that's part of your business, I guess.
It is. And again, I have great skis and great bikes. We do K2, Rosnell, Volkel, Solomon, Het, Dynastar bikes. Pinarello, I do Cervelo, I do Yeti. So we have the best of the best. I have the best locations. I have a ski and ski out location in Vail. I have a ski and ski out location in Lionshead. I have a ski and ski out location in Cascade Village. I have a ski and ski out location in Bachelor Gulch. So I have literally the best real estate in the world. But the best asset that I have are the people that I get to work with. So my employees that's they are straight from the hand of God. That's what allows me to do what I do. And I still work. I mean, I'm in the stores pretty much. In July, I'm not going to be in the stores. I'll be in France.
You're gonna be in France.
But by and large, I'm in the stores every day. Christmas morning this year, I was in the shop putting boots on people's feet. But like Christmas morning, I worked from maybe not pick up January 5th, whatever.
Yeah.
I worked from 7:30 till 10:30 or 11. Then it was slow, and I went and made a couple runs. I skied for maybe an hour and a half. I came back. I worked the afternoon, so I got to ski that day, but I still work. Today, in doing this podcast with you, it's whatever time it is. I'm going to go to the shop. I'm going to work for a little bit in the afternoon. I'm going to get to ride for an hour. So I might not take a lunch break, but I get to go ride my bike. I might not, be home for dinner, but I got to go ski a little bit. So that's how I get to balance it. But there is also, there's a lot. I've been doing it for a third of a century.
Yeah.
My first few years, I didn't get to, I might only ski 5 days because I was working. But that's no different than if you're a lawyer or a doctor. Yeah, you've been doing it for 30 years. You get to take a nice vacation. But when you were in residency, you worked 100-hour weeks. And that's
exactly. Mike, are you more, I think I know the answer to this, but are you more of a biker or a skier?
What do you think?
I think you're more of a biker.
Now I think I am. But I still, like this year I skied, I can look on the Epic Pass. I think I skied 40 days. But again, a lot of those days were, I was in the Bachelor Golf store, and I can literally leave that store and make 4 runs and be gone for under an hour. So I took my lunch break to go ski. So when I say I skied 40 days, a lot of those were maybe 1 hour. Versus biking, I definitely, you're correct, I bike more. But especially because I'm training for the Tour de France, so I need to bike more. I'm gonna die.
And you know why I say that? Because when I moved to Vail, I was a biker, and the only place that I could find, and I didn't even know that you actually that you had the ability to rent the bikes that they're using at the Tour de France. But I did notice that Venture Sports was unique in the selection and the offerings of bikes. And now, I mean, that was 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and now, I mean, we've seen that Vail has in the summer has become a mecca for bikers. Venture Sports was one of the very few in the beginning that I saw that were not just renting Huffy Puffies or whatever you buy them find in Sports Authority or Dick's Sporting Goods or whatever. And
also in the winter, if I may, so I want to be careful not to be offensive, but there's a lot of ski shops who are like, hey, we have to do something in the summer. We'll rent bikes. Well, there's a lot of moving parts on a bike. Frenos, escaleras, pneumáticos, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed. And so if you don't know how to do that, particularly in the mountains, it's one thing if you're in the beach in Miami and it's a beach cruiser single speed. There's not a lot to go wrong. But all our bikes have like 20 or 24 gears. And so there's a lot of things to go wrong. And we have qualified bike mechanics who work on things. In the winter, we have been voted the best tune in the Vail Valley every year that award has been.
That I know.
Every year. And so every ski shop in Vail Village has Vocal and has Rosnall and Cascade. We all rent pretty good skis. Yes, ours are new every year. Most shops can say the same thing, okay? Again, no matter what shop you go in Vail, they're going to have decent skis. However, we guarantee they're tuned and we guarantee they're tuned properly. And so for those of us who have skied in Vail, there are a lot of cat tracks in Vail. To get to the back poles, you have to, and if your skis are not tuned, your skis are not waxed, you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing. Versus if your skis are tuned, you're getting out there and you're having more fun. So both ski and bike, I believe that we have always committed to making sure that your equipment is properly maintained.
Yes.
That means we're all I might be $5 less than the guy across the street. We're all pretty close on price. What I can compete on is service and making sure that the equipment is the best that it can possibly have. And from the day we started, we have a 100% guarantee on everything we do. If it's not right, it's free. And so sometimes we're human. We have made mistakes. I know that's hard to believe, but we do. And so if you come in, Beatrice, and whatever, your skis weren't absolutely perfect. You came in, you ruined my vacation. Hey, I'm terribly sorry, Miss Martinez. We will make it free because we want you to come back and see us again next year. So that's what we do on both the bike and the ski front. And then also, you talking about, you're obviously a woman, have bikes for women. We have in the winter, we have about 15 models of women's specific ski.
Really?
So we have women's skis, the Head Joy. We have the Rosy Sapphire. We have the the skis from Vocal. So all the manufacturers are now making a lady-specific ski about somewhere around 15 menos. So women. So it's not like, oh, here, take this ski and we'll just give it in a shorter size. And we have bikes that are designed specifically for women, so they fit your.
The frame. Yeah, I mean, very interesting, Mike. So, finalizing, because I know you have to go train for the Tour de France. Are you gonna wear? Not gonna, because it's a drag. I'm assuming you're not gonna have any little cam or anything. That's gonna drag your bike, right? I mean,
no, okay, GoPro. So I'll send you some.
Okay.
I do most of my do a video, and then I just put something together, and at the end I'll do a longer video. But when we get done, I'll send you a couple videos like
I would love to see
last year the races I've done. So I'll definitely have some, and I'll try to speak some in my terrible Spanglish.
Okay, yeah.
Hola, mi nombre
Hola,
es Mike. Yo estoy en mi bicicleta hoy.
You know, my parents have a place in Saint Germain, and 5 years ago I saw the Tour de France ends in Paris. So I was in Paris and I was able to see that. It was just such an amazing experience for me. 5 years ago. It was amazing. It was just one of those days that you always remember.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what's next for you and for Venture Sports in the coming ski season? Anything exciting that you would like to talk about? I know that you're just starting your summer season. If you would like to maybe give us a sneak peek of what's coming this ski season.
I think the thing that I would be most excited about, so as you saw on Tech Tuesdays, in March, I tested a lot of next year's skis.
Yes, I saw that.
Kind of like, I got the new iPhone. My old one works great, but when they come out with new, you're like, ooh, it's lighter, it's faster, it has more memory in the same capacity. The skis we have this year are really, really good. Kesley has some really great skis from next year. Vocal and Solomon are some hot shots. The Rossi, pretty much every ski that I skied in March for next year, really, really excited. We're bringing, 25, almost 30 new models.
Wow.
And then on the boot front, one of the great technologies is BOA. A lot of your people will know what the BOA is. Instead of having a buckle, it's a dial.
Yeah.
And so we brought in the BOA boot. We brought in about 150 pairs just to try them, so we won't have them for everybody. But Base Camp will have about 75 pair. And our Grand Hyatt store, which is in Cascade Village, will have about 75 pair just to try them. The neat thing about that is that, normally you've got your foot and you've got two buckles on the front that clasp down. But with the BOA, the entire boot sort of wraps around your foot and you can feel it instead of just clamping here. And really
certain areas.
Yeah, so I would say those are the new ski technology, which somehow the engineers figure out how to make them better every year. And also the boots. I think those are the two things that I'm most excited about for 2026.
Hopefully I'll get them so that I can go super fast.
Yeah.
I don't want to fall. I'm skiing more cautiously now.
The older you get, that if you fall, you don't heal as fast. So you're not cautiously, smarter.
Exactly, smarter. That's what I'm doing. Now when I go with he's gonna be 15-year-old. 2 years ago, I told him that's it. Not if you want to go, he was 13 at the time, and I told him if you want to, ski with me, you have to be patient. Otherwise, on your own. And he left on his own. That was the first time that we ever separated. I mean, and now I do the you're gonna ski with mom day type of afternoon.
Yeah.
But I said, no, I mean, I don't want to, exactly because of that, because if I break a bone, I mean, I don't have the time to, do a PT or whatever, but but my brain still thinks I'm 25. All right. Anyhow, Mike, thank you again for being on Conquering Vail this morning. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. Before we wrap up, how can our international listeners get in touch with you directly if they want to rent a bike or somebody, from your team this summer? Or book the Vail Pass. What's the best way to book, and which Venture Sports location in the Vail Valley offer bike rentals?
So in the summer, we have Base Camp is open.
Okay.
The Vail store is open, and Avon is open. And then if they want to get a hold of us, they can do info@avonventuresports.com.
Okay.
And if they want me directly, it's just Mike@avonventuresports.com. And please reach out. I respond.
Not in July. I'm gonna be in France, but
I'll check emails. I may be a little slow, Yeah, and then on Strava, I am Mike Brumbaugh.
Yeah, I'll put everything on our show notes because I am following on Strava. I'm following you on Strava.
Super.
Si estás planificando venir a Vail este verano, ya sea esquiar o explorar nuestras montañas en bici, no dudes en contactar directamente a Venture Sports a través de su sitio web en avonventuresports.com o visitar sus tiendas. Y si quieres asesoría personalizada sobre cómo invertir, comprar o disfrutar del estilo de vida único que ofrece Vail Valley, puedes escribirme directamente por WhatsApp al 001-970-1729 o seguirme en Instagram @VeaEnVail. Gracias por escuchar y no olvides suscribirte al podcast, dar tu review y compartir este episodio con quien sueñe con vivir o invertir en las montañas de Colorado. Nos vemos muy pronto en los trails de Vail. Hasta luego.